Hi, and welcome to another edition of Beer for Breakfast ABV. I am Danielle from The Moog Show on 91X. As always, I have my beer drinking partner in crime, Paul Segura, Brewmaster Research and Development at Karl Strauss. And today on Beer for Breakfast ABV, we are going international. I have Ivan and Damien with me, and they are here from Insurgente.
Yes.
Yeah, Insurgente. They're from Insurgente, and they came from TJ. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This is the first time we've had a brewery from another country, so this is really
really?
exciting.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's an honor then.
What better way than, from our neighbors just down south?
Just a few minutes from here.
Yeah. So what's the story behind you guys? When did you open? All that fun stuff.
We started homebrewing at our mom's kitchen back in 2010.
So you guys are brothers.
Nine.
We are.
No.
It was 10. We started drinking heavily in 2009.
Maybe before that, but
So how'd you guys get turned on to craft beer?
Oh.
What was that first experience?
It was actually, I was bored at work reading City Beat, and they featured Allagash Confluence Ale, and I was curious to try it out, so I did. And then the rest is history.
It was like a big door opened. And
it was like.
for me, the only beers that I had tried were like the Sierra Nevada. Actually, no, before that, Fat Tire and Sam Adams, right?
Yeah.
And he showed us up once with a bottle of Duvel, like the 750 with a cork cage and everything. And
This is a fancy bottle.
Yeah, I had never seen anything like that. And it was like a light colored beer, and it didn't make sense that it had 8% ABV and was such a light color and had so much flavor to it. So that to me, like even though I had tried those other beers, that was just like, and then from there it was.
Yeah. So back then, you're still able to find Russian River's, what was it? Consecration. The 750s and Supplication and all those. So that's kind of like how we started.
So you just went full bore and then went right into home brewing from that.
Yeah.
So it was actually thanks to Joey now over at Vine and Vine, who was before at South Bay Drugs down in Imperial Beach.
Yeah.
And so he's older than me. We're brothers, by the way. He's older than me by 5 years, so he had a head start on the whole beer thing. And so he would kind of like showed me all about that, and then introduced me to Joey eventually. And Joey was responsible for us trying a lot of this stuff. Like
Joey was a good resource to a lot of people for a long time.
He saved us about 5 years of experience or something or like that by just like taking us straight to the good stuff.
Very cool. Well, before we came on camera, we had started out with your guys' pale ale, the Juan Cordero.
Yes.
Yeah, that's 2 for 2.
Who is Juan Cordero?
Oh, he's a Mexican painter.
That's actually
I don't remember for like dates, but I wouldn't have to get that technical.
Yeah, but actually, Juan Cordero is the name of the street where the brewery is at, right?
Okay.
So it's actually more than that. It's actually the house. The house where we grew up is right now literally next to our current brewery. So that's where we grew up. It's where the brewery started as a nano brewery, and then now next door, the same street where our current brewery is. So it's like the permanent home of Insurgente.
Very cool.
So that's why we named it. We wanted to make a beer that was like very, very, very hoppy, very drinkable, and that sort of carried Tijuana in its name somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So since it's like our home street, we kind of just named it that way.
It was a good icebreaker. I enjoyed it. It was dry. It was hoppy. It was nice.
Yeah, we're very
Solid
proud of this
pale
beer,
ale.
actually. It's this one right here.
We'll be pouring that this weekend at the Del Mar Fair.
Oh, the International Beer Festival. You guys won also, right?
This one.
Was it for this beer?
Was it a gold?
We got a gold medal for Pale Ale.
Yes.
Yeah, there was actually only 2 international breweries in the competition, and we were one of them. And well, I don't know about in the competition, but that won. At least. And
that's
that was
rad.
really cool to get that, especially here in San Diego and in such a competed category, right? So it's on IPAs, right?
Well, 2-1. I mean, you guys might as well be San Diegans,
Right.
right? Just like 10 minutes away.
or vice versa.
I like that better. I like
I like
that.
the spirit.
Well, so the next beer, it's a wit. I don't even want to. What is it?
Try it.
All right.
It's this one, right?
Tiembla.
Kind of.
Tiembla, no.
Tiniebla.
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 It means the darkness. So as you can tell, it's
dark.
It's not dark.
False advertising.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like sarcasm. I mean, when we first started with the brewery, we had no idea, and we still don't have any idea.
We struggle with names.
Naming beer. So we just figured, it's a light beer.
The naming's the hardest part.
It is.
But I almost feel like I could be totally ignorant to this, that you guys would have a little bit easier than like stateside, because I know that Paul will talk about all the Googling that they do to find a beer, because there's so many beers here with names that I would assume in Spanish that maybe there's a little bit more wiggle room.
Most of them are untaken in Spanish, I would say.
I mean, unless it's, 2 X's. Then take it.
Yeah, that might be taken. Something to do with a crown.
You do your research before you name a beer just to make sure that it's not out there?
We do a Google search to make sure nobody's taken it already, or to make sure it's not on Urban Dictionary or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make sure it doesn't mean
Plus, you guys have to
bad.
deal with the FDA, or right, for label approval.
If it's draft beer, it's not as big a deal. But if it's going to be a label, then it's a big deal. Yeah, then it has to go through.
So what kind of regulations are on you guys down in Mexico?
We're not regulated.
So they're wow.
No. There are some regulations, and it's just like the basic stuff, like the government warning. They make us do these little icons on there, like the don't drink if you're under 18, don't drink and drive, and if you're pregnant, don't drink.
Oh, that's a pregnant lady. It kind of looks like a monkey a little bit. I don't know. I see a tail. I don't know. I swear I'm not
random icons on there, actually.
You should just start adding random icons on. I like that.
So the bottles are 355 ml,
which is 12 ounces.
About 12 ounces.
Yeah. So it's funny, like in Europe or South America, they'll do like 350 or 330. 330 will be more common, but since we use American bottles, it's 355.
Well, the metric system's always made more sense to me anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 liter is exactly 1 pound.
Right. Which is why they use 330, because like 3 bottles is 1 liter. It's like a third of a liter in a bottle, whereas this
makes too much sense.
Yeah. I'll take the extra ounces.
Another stupid question. Are you guys on the metric system in Mexico? I have no idea.
Are.
Yeah.
You are? Okay, so it's only the United States.
Yeah.
It was weird. We're the weird ones, like the rest of the world's on the metric
system. That seems to not
system.
understand. Okay, all right.
Solid wit beer, guys.
Thank you.
You smell, from the minute you smell it, it's got that typical wit beer, that sort of coriander. To me, the coriander with the orange and the wit beer yeast, it tastes like celery.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know why. For me, it's like celery.
So curious thing with this beer, when we first started making it, we did it the traditional way, meaning practically that we used wood beer yeast.
Yeah.
But in talking to Ryan over at Coronado.
Ryan Brooks, yes.
Ryan Brooks, yeah.
South Norte.
Yeah, Ryan has been a very, very big influence in the beer scene in Baja. He's been a very big supporter of everybody down there. So he sort of clued us in on the fact that they use California ale yeast on their wood beer. So we tried it out and it turned out great. It made it a lot easier on our yeast management too.
I bet.
Yeah, so because that way we can use just one strain we use one strain for all of our beers. Yeah, pretty much.
We're trying to improve on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean our core beers at least.
Yeah.
We use the same strain.
You had me fooled. Like I smelled it and I went, that's a.
So you do get the coriander in the nose. I think that the cloudiness is not there. There's no yeast in suspension. It makes a beer a lot clearer than like wit beer.
Yeah,
traditional.
It could be cloudier. Because this is almost bright. It looks almost
and, I mean, you also don't get the phenols and stuff like that from like the wit beer yeast generally. So which allows the coriander and the orange to kind of
come out cleaner.
Yeah.
Well, it's textbook, I think.
Yeah, we like it a lot.
If you hadn't told me, it probably would have been better had you not said anything.
Yeah, no, it's our highest seller by volume actually.
Well, that was going to be my next question. So a wit beer, I mean, I wouldn't expect, when we think Mexico, we think Baja lagers, we think Mexican lagers, spilling over from San Diego. I could see the IPAs, the pale ales. The wit beer, was that kind of a hard sell, or were like people like all about it?
It started as a honey hefeweizen actually. Our first wit beer or intentional beer that we wanted to make a transition beer for the Mexican market. It's hard to give them a pale or an IPA because it's too aggressive on the palate that's used to drinking Vienna lagers for 20 years. So we thought that
So I don't know. When you say transitional beer, you mean like a stepping stone beer?
Yeah,
a good entry beer for people who aren't familiar with your beers.
And this is what Tiniebla really is. It's really the brew that we sell and brew the most because of that. Because everybody can drink it at any time during the day.
Right, and it's like summertime year round. You sell this really,
pretty much. Yeah, and it also helps that there's a lot of seafood down in TJ's, so it pairs very, very well with seafood because of the citrus touch and the ceviche with lime and
that sounds so good.
cilantro,
this with ceviche would be a home run.
Yeah, no, I mean it works
so
very,
good.
very well. Yeah.
Well, so we're getting into our next beer, which is an IPA. You ready for this one? All right.
Try it.
All right. Rompeolas.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah!
Rompeolas is how do you say that in English? It's like a
wave break.
Wave breaker. It's like where the waves crash.
Okay.
Like
the
this
beach area.
Yeah, no, but like this, there's these like stone structures that they put on like in the ocean to kind of like make the waves break before the
like a reef.
Kind of, but it's man-made.
Okay.
Sort of. I don't remember.
Yeah, there's
what they're
man-made
called,
reefs here.
Yeah. Okay, so pretty much that. Yeah.
Come on, Mr. Surfer, what is it? I was
When he said rocks and man-made, I was thinking jetty or something like we have here. But then when he said like reef.
So makes a break?
Something like that.
Okay.
So you can't find this one here in San Diego. We don't export it to Southern California yet, but we're trying.
So we have to go to you to get this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's good incentive.
Yeah.
It smells really good.
It does smell really good.
Fresh and
A lot
hoppy.
of mosaic.
Oh, that's good.
That is really good. That reminds me of another mosaic beer.
Mildly. But I think this one's better.
This one has a little bit more bitterness.
So this has Mosaic, Simcoe.
And Mosaic, Simcoe, and I don't know.
Citra.
Is it Citra?
Citra, yeah.
The 3 cheater hops.
Yeah.
We call them cheater hops.
And why are
They're
they
delicious.
called cheater hops?
Because they just smell through anything. It's
Yeah.
So it's very aromatic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
because it's
tasty.
almost like unfair to use these because they're so good.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you put them all together,
Well, and then you got a triple whammy like this.
and it's part in your mouth.
Well, you said it, not me.
You were thinking it. Yeah, this
So-
is a fantastic IPA.
This
This beer would do well up here.
Do you want to tell them how we got to this beer? Like why this recipe?
Why this recipe? Okay. So we started out with an IPA that we'll try next, which is the green one. And this is more of a traditional IPA. And we started noticing that we were liking more of the hop flavor and the aroma than having a maltier backbone on the IPA. So that's what we pretty much did. We brewed a similar IPA, but take off the crystal malts, throw a bunch of hops and dry it out, and all late additions for the hops. So I mean, it's all you get is that hop punch in the flavor and in the nose, obviously.
Yeah. The hops definitely come through, man.
So good.
And then, I mean, compared to the Lupulosa, the like our first IPA, which is more of our flagship beer, we didn't want to change the recipe on that one just because it's also kind of our staple beer. That's what we're known for in Mexico. And so instead of kind of changing the recipe, we decided to add
Make
another
another
IPA
beer.
because why not have 2 IPAs, right?
Well, if you change a recipe after the beer has been distributed and out there, then you're going to make people angry because that's where they latch onto that beer and that becomes their favorite. And
who doesn't have 2 IPAs in there,
Right, exactly. There's that too.
And at that, I think you're lacking a little bit. If you only have two. I mean, I'm just saying.
Actually, just on that note, I think we may be the first brewery in Mexico to have 2 IPAs in their core lineup. So it's a different market in Mexico. Yeah, it's
well, this one we're having now would hunt with any of the San Diego IPAs. Honestly,
Thank you.
It's really good.
I would say you could totally throw this in like a blind tasting of the top, like, West Coast, like San Diego IPAs, and it would be a total contender.
I'm surprised you guys haven't won a medal for this one yet, but I know the IPA category has a lot of entries.
Yeah. We've won medals outside of the U.S., but in the U.S., I mean, it's so competed.
This one just recently won in Costa Rica. Costa Rica has an emerging craft beer market coming up. So I was there last year. They had their first CBC, or not? It's not CBC. It's like the conference.
Right.
Is it similar to the event in Mexico City every year?
I think it's a little smaller.
It's smaller. So it's just a bunch of breweries and people that want to know about, home brewing. So I went there and I gave a talk on quality control and packaging. And you're going next month.
I'm going next month in August, to give a talk on like branding and
the importance
marketing.
of branding and marketing for a brewery.
It's pretty cool how craft beer is just blowing up all over the world right now.
Yeah.
You said you're distributing beer in Denmark and other places in the world.
We're sending beer to Denmark, Panama, Switzerland, and then just Southern California here in the States, but hopefully.
So we'll Panama, but not yet Costa Rica.
Not yet Costa Rica. The reason I said that's because this one gold. They had a competition down there, and this IPA took it.
It's
pretty
delicious.
stuck.
So they appreciate good beer already.
Yeah. They do. Yeah. No, it's crazy. I've been to competitions in Panama as a judge, and I've tried a lot of beer from Brazil, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, some of the beers that they're making in Brazil, particularly, like could compete, like some hazies in cans and stuff. Like it almost would seem like you would walk into like a store here and buy a local can of a hazy IPA, and it's just like spot on.
Yeah, I had some Brazilian beer recently. It was really good.
Beer's making it across the world, man. That's
all over.
This is how we're going to achieve world peace.
Yeah.
By
Through
beer.
beer.
It's through beer. We'll just all through a beer together, and we'll all achieve world peace.
Yeah.
The cause and solution of most of the world's problems.
Right. So you are distributed in Southern California. Is it difficult to get your beer like into the States, or is it a fairly easy exchange?
Easier than you would think, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, once you get the hang of it, I mean, at first it's a bunch of paperwork and we've been working, brokers. But once you get past that, you get the hang of it, and it just flows.
So where around San Diego, just on the regular, can we find you guys?
Aside from Machete.
Yeah.
So I would say we're at most specialty beer stores.
Bottle craft,
definitely for sure. Vine and Vine, Best Damn Beer Shop, South Bay Liquor, et cetera. And then bars, we're like Mexican places that have beer. Will usually be there on a permanent handle, but then like rotating through a lot of other places like Machete and Bottle Craft and
bigger stores like Sprouts usually has our beer, and then
Target at North Park.
Oh, no kidding.
Random. That's awesome.
Well, if there's going to be a Target, like North Park's probably the best one.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
What else?
Did we ever do a Whole Foods or?
We're at Whole Foods. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're at Whole Foods. We're at Whole Foods, and then we're in talks with Trader Joe's, which would be cool too.
That is cool.
So it'll be more and more easy to find our beer out there.
I could see your beers blowing up here, man, because there's a lot of transplants from Tijuana here in LA, probably even bigger, like Mexico.
Yeah.
We have been sending some beer
to LA.
To LA. I wouldn't even know where to.
That's
direct
a tough
people.
market.
Yeah.
It's
It
so
is a tough
spread
market,
out.
yeah.
So big.
Well,
LA's a very different market than San Diego, for sure.
you'll definitely be able to find you guys at BeerX.
Yes.
Oh,
We'll be
yes.
touring at
Yeah.
BeerX in 2 weeks. Can't believe it's almost time for BeerX. So this is your guys' flagship IPA, right?
Yes, La Lupulosa. Oh,
La
sorry,
Lupulosa.
I stole it from you.
I was saying it in my head anyways, and that's how I was going to say it. So, La Lupulosa.
Some people call it Lollapalooza, which also, we'll take it.
So it does have a more golden color.
Yeah.
So this one also is pretty bright. You guys filter all your beers, or
No, we just let it rest.
Biofine.
Biofine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Looks beautiful. It's got a nice head.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
So it does have more kind of an old school aroma,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
like Centennials or Chinook.
Centennial,
Yeah.
Cascade, Chinook, exactly. And then Amarillo.
Amarillo and Citra, and a little bit of Citra again, and the Amarillo and Citra. It's a bunch of hops too. This one has a lot of hops.
6, I think, total, with Warrior and the bittering.
Yeah, well, we started using the extract.
It's delicious.
It's good, right? It's like,
Yeah, I like this. This
Old
has a
school.
nice, bready, slightly toasty finish.
We use
Yeah.
English malts in this one, Munich and Crystal 45.
Nice.
So
it's got a nice firm, malt profile. Delicious.
Yeah, I mean, we do kind of strive for some balance because sometimes there's some beers out there that I love, but are too hop forward in my opinion.
It's a hop in the face.
Yeah.
Right in the face.
We try to kind of strive for some balance there with
So I would prefer this one with ceviche more than the wit beer because I think the citrusy and piney flavors from the hops would really kind of...
I get asked that question pretty often, like what would you pair this with? And for Tiniebla and Lupulosa, I always say ceviche because I think they both, although they're very different,
but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not black or white, it's all subjective. It's all personal taste.
Mm-hmm. It's got a very citrusy aroma and flavor to it. So
I could eat ceviche with a stout.
Eat oysters
seafood,
with a stout.
yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Oyster stout.
One of the things that I'm always curious about just from brewers is so if you have just an average person who comes to you and is just like, I don't see the big deal about craft beer. Mm-hmm. What is the big deal about craft beer? What do you have to say to that as co-founders of a brewery?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
I think there's a lot of things that could answer that question. At least for me personally, I think helping out people in your local community is a big part. It's people that you're helping local jobs, local people, your neighbors. I think it also sort of creates a way of I guess adding diversity to the marketplace in general as far as the things that you can find and because at least for us in Mexico, you could only find the big boys, right? Mm-hmm. It used to be only Vienna lagers or mostly Vienna lagers. And just being able to find that and enjoy a beer like that to us is a big important part.
So you guys kind of paved the way for craft beer, especially in Tijuana, right? You guys probably were one of the oldest. I remember going to Tijuana Brewing Company way back in the day, but their beer, they had like Czechoslovakian guys working there, and some of the beers were more sort of European.
Yeah.
Your beers are all like new. They're all,
they were influenced by Czech beer, Pilsners mainly. So that's their focus. And us being from San Diego, Tijuana, San Diego, we were definitely influenced by the West Coast movement, West Coast IPAs and West Coast hop forward. But yeah, to answer your question on my end, I think that what he said is very true. Obviously creating employment, local employment, helping out the local community, giving back. Being creative, I think that there's a lot of talent in our city, and helping them, have a path, whether it be making a beer or creating a design or playing music in an event that we host, supporting local musicians, or just being involved with your local community.
For example, we get hit up for sponsorships a lot of the time, and we pretty much only take on sponsorships that are culturally engaged. So it's whether it's a gallery or some sort of art event, music, but we really rarely do anything for like corporations or any other companies. So we do try and support local talent, and that's a big part of what we do.
Very cool. I think that, your crossover between Baja, Southern California, you guys are killing the game. And I cannot wait to see what else I see from Insurgente around San Diego at, our better beer
Well,
bars.
don't wait. Come down to Tijuana.
Right. If it weren't for that pesky passport thing, that's my next, I'm going to be a grown-up and get a passport because there's so much awesome stuff that's going on down in TJ, and I can't go. So it's on my list. I know. It's on my long list of things to do.
Well, for those who are
adult.
like you who can't go down, you guys are serving beer this weekend at the San Diego International Beer Festival, and then
next week,
and then Beer X.
Beer X, for sure.
The following weekend.
Yes, right on. Well, Ivan, Damien, thank you so much for
having
taking
us.
the time
Cheers
to
to all the
come
good work
on
you guys do.
Thank you.
Breakfast
Cheers.
ABV. Cheers.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Paul Segura,
thanks for having me.
Hanging out with me.
It was my pleasure.
It's always so much fun drinking beer with you on camera.
I agree. It's fun drinking beer with you too.
Right.
I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you,
What about off camera though?
this is really all I can handle of him. And thank you for watching Beer for Breakfast ABV. You can find previous editions of Beer for Breakfast at 91x.com, and you can hear the live on-air version. Paul gets in here at 8:45 every Friday morning. And I know, right? I make him get up here early. And we talk about all these awesome beers. So turn on your radio, and thanks for tuning in. Cheers.
Cheers.